And we roll back to the era of disco, denim and doilies to find out why 70s fashion is making a comeback.
Now, big flares, big hair and big collars. The styles of the 70s were distinctive and divisive, maybe. Now there's a renewed interest in fashion and culture of the decade as a whole.
One museum in Hull is appealing for people in the city to come forward with their memories and memorabilia from a pivotal period in British history. Our reporter, Sally Fairfax, has more.
Technology, fashion and our lifestyles were all very different 50 years ago.
Everything's up, you know.
But some things will never change.
You ever go and watch Hull?
You might as well ask us to change our religion. We can't go down there.
And now the people at the Street Life Museum are looking for your memories of 1970s Hull and East Yorkshire.
We've got a chopper here, which was really popular, but also the lesser-known budgie, like a smaller version as well. I think the good thing about it is that it's going to touch so many people, the different generations. I'm a child of the 70s myself, so I'll be coming to show my daughter all the things that were around when I was her age. We're looking for people to get rummaging in the family photo boxes, find all the pictures of them in their embarrassing flares and big collars.
What do you remember about Hull in the 70s?
This area here, there was traffic going round and there was a roundabout round Queen Victoria there with a policeman on, directing traffic. You'd walk along here and there'd be a trawler being repaired or fitted out and its bow would be over the footpath.
Shopping in the C&A mostly, that's where I spent my pocket money. It was bustling. I mean, you could walk down Whiteford and not be able to move because it was just heaving.
I loved the 70s. I remember the music. I remember the heat wave in '76. That always sticks in my mind.
And what kind of music were you listening to?
Heavy metal, Led Zeppelin, and an Afghan coat that smelled horrible.
It's a decade that's still in living memory. So dig out the photos and show the youth of today what you were like back then.
Sally Fairfax reporting there. We're joined now by vintage stylist Caitlin Hare. Good morning.
Good morning.
You've certainly dressed for the part today, haven't you? You fit in perfectly.
Yeah, blend in, it's camouflage.
Well, in a way.
In the clashingest way ever.
It was quite divisive, I think, the fashion and the styles of the 70s. I mean, personally, I think they were fabulous, but people were like, this is too much. How's it coming back? What's driving this?
It's interesting that you say that because literally just before someone asked, what do you think about it being the decade of no taste? I think that there was just a lot of experiments going on in the 70s. People felt free to sort of experiment with different music and different styles, different fashion, different interior. And so I think it's obviously never going to be for everyone. But I think the reason it's coming back, I think there was a lot of political and social turmoil in the 70s, and I think that's always reflected in style, in fashion and in interiors. And so I think we look back when there's times of uncertainty, we look back to find some nostalgia and some comfort.
There was the revolution of polyester as well.
Oh, I mean, you just don't get polyester now like you did then, like, and you didn't have to iron it, which was great. You know, there was all these like conveniences, especially for women. There was lots of liberation for women, which meant that, you know, women were able to wear really big sleeves because they didn't have to spend ages cooking. You know, you had like the microwave and the slow cooker, and you didn't like the blender and things like that. So women felt more free to wear all these really glamorous and outrageous things, basically.
Outrageous, maybe just fundamentally a bit more fun.
I think whimsy.
A bit more fun. I mean, this is a sort of kipper tie, as we'd call it.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, I like it because it's Wimbledon right now, and you've got a kind of tennis scenario playing out here. But now this looks kind of, that's quite out there. But that wouldn't have been unusual, would it?
I think that would work today, though.
I think it just depends what kind of person you are, and I think a lot of people really do want to experiment and bring a bit more fun into their wardrobes. But I think having the confidence to do that is maybe what people struggle with a little bit.
I tell you what was quite a big thing that I do remember is when you had a matching shirt and tie.
Oh, absolutely.
So they would be patterned, but
Yeah.
the same pattern.
Like paisley shirt,
Yeah.
paisley tie.
Yeah.
as well.
You had that a lot with women's fashion as well, that you had like the matching trousers with the matching hat, or you had a full suit, or there was a lot of coordination going on. So it might have been really out there, but it made sense. Like, the outfits made sense.
And nowadays, I mean, with this place in Hull, particularly this Street Life Museum, can you imagine some of the things people are going to dig out?
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see it. It looks absolutely amazing. And I think the most wonderful thing about things like this as well is that people's memories, the best thing when you talk to people about the 70s, or I get stopped a lot, you know, people saying, oh, I had one of those and things like that. And the best thing about that is that it brings back all these really lovely memories for people of maybe a bit of a simpler time. You know, this phone, for example, you know, you weren't available all the time, and you know, you used to have a landline that your whole family would use, and it just feels like a bit more of a simpler time. So yeah,
I'm a bit confused because we didn't have this, and I was born bang in the middle of the 70s.
Right.
A coffee pot. Now, I did say to you, and you said, I remember the coffee pot. So you used to make coffee and then put it in the coffee pot and then pour it back into a cup?
Yeah, and then they had these tiny little cups to match, like kind of little espresso cups to match them. Yeah, I think there was a lot in the 70s that was for show. I was talking before about the hostess trolley.
Yeah.
You know, you had a hostess trolley. What for? You'd host like the odd party, but you had all these like really elaborate hosting things, and I think that comes back to the convenience thing, because people weren't cooking and stuff as much. You ended up just being really elaborate hosts.
And do you remember the teas made?
Yes, yeah.
Which basically was quite. I don't know why I'm picking this phone up. But,
Who are you going to call?
I don't know. But the teas made was in a funny kind of way. It's a brilliant idea, wasn't it? You could tea would be ready for you.
Innovative.
With alarm.
Absolutely.
Make the tea. All done.
And they're just gone now.
What are people asking for? You're a stylist. What are people asking for, you know, in terms of a nod to the 70s?
I think the main thing that people ask for is confidence, really. I think what they're asking for is confidence, and as we said, a bit more fun in their wardrobes. And I think especially when it comes to the 70s, there were so many crazy, like, outrageous shapes and outrageous prints and outrageous colours. And I think they're just looking to introduce that a little bit more. The world can be a bit grey, can't it?
Would you wear this outfit, and please don't take this the wrong way, out in the street?
Absolutely.
And do people, because I think you look fabulous, do people comment?
Yeah.
But in a positive way, or are they like, you've just thrown that together?
No, I always
was the
get
idea
really
with the
positive.
70s.
Yeah, I get really positive comments, honestly. And I think that's the thing that I always try and tell people when I'm doing styling and things, that, like, actually, people are really lovely. I think on social media you tend to get a few, like, whoa. But, I mean, you do with everything, don't you?
One other thing, I think, and this phone illustrates in a way, we weren't in such a rush. Because you want to make a phone call, do you give an illustration of how long it used to take?
Go on.
So, who should I call? I don't know.
Yeah.
And if you got it wrong, you put your fingers...
Still going. I haven't finished the dialing. Yeah, we're still going now. And then it's like, oh, I got the number wrong.
Yeah,
no,
start
do it
again. Yeah.
I called the director.
Yeah.
Speak to you.
No, he's telling you off, not me.
He's saying, well, are we nearly finished?
I used to ring Accurist all the time, just to get the time.
Exactly. You said 1, 2, 3, wasn't it?
1, 2, 3, yeah.
It's funny how you
Thank you for
remember.
livening up the studio for us.
Oh, you're so
Do you like
welcome.
what we've done with the place?
Oh, absolutely. I think you should
Good.
keep it like this, actually.
All right.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it looks
agree.
lovely.
It's lovely. Caitlin, hair stylist, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
joining
for
us.
having me.
Brightened up the sofa, definitely.
We've got the headlines coming up.